Hi everyone. I just wanted to share some of you an experiment I just completed on my 12 string here that I think could really enable a lot of people to make very beautiful music. And it's based on Sufjan Stevens, so I thought this would be very helpful to a lot of people. And before I get to that, I just wanted to give a little update because a lot has happened. So first of all, thank you to those who have wished me well and wished me good luck on social media, because I'm a Florida resident and Hurricane Milton just came through, and I came out all right, and we have power back and everything. And then I also have a new phone that is much more upgraded than previously, so I look forward to seeing where I can go with content making with this new phone in the future. Just a little life update for my friends watching. So so I did this new experiment where I took the tuning of an exotic instrument I will talk about called the Guitalin, I think that's how it's pronounced, and I tuned it on the guitar. And I will show you how to do it. I'm going to tell you guys how to do it, the inspiration for it, and how to sound good on it, or how to sound like stuff that's already been done. So the inspiration came from an album that is very close to my heart, Carrie Lowell. It's considered the Sufjan Stevens' sad, dark album. And honestly, in the 3 or 4 years that I've known it, it has been sustained as one of my favorite albums ever. I find myself listening to it almost more than any other album. I listen to it a lot more than most albums, like stuff I'll listen to only 2 or 3 times. And I find myself going back and back to it. It's one of the few albums that has had that impact. And it's so incredibly unique and recognizable. I think because it has a lot of juxtaposition, it has very beautiful, stringy, airy, feminine qualities. But the subject matter and other parts are very mature, very grounded, very, just very, very direct and blunt and dark almost. So there's a lot of uniqueness in that album. It's incredibly unique, and a song is part of that album just by listening to it. And it's an incredibly homogeneous album too. A lot of the songs sound the same, but amazingly does not lose its beauty at all, because it's so amazing how it sounds. So that is the inspiration for this. I can't stop listening to that album, and I have to make more music that sounds like it, because it's helped me, so I need to help more of you guys. So a key element to how that album sounds is an instrument called the Guitalin, which I will link the Wikipedia article for it, which is a very useful and actually quite a great article to read. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't find much insight or excitement on a Wikipedia article about a string instrument that nobody knows about, but there is a lot of insight into it, and I actually really enjoyed reading it. So the Guitalin was used all throughout Carrie Lowell, and it gave it that very harpy, very high, happy kind of sound. And that's a very essential part to having that album get such a unique, such an original sound. So now I will show you guys how it's done, how to string a guitar, because a lot of people, sorry, that was weird. So a lot of people don't have the money or the resources to build their own Guitalin or to buy their own Guitalin. They're very unique, so they're at least a few $1,000s. So most people don't have the resources. I don't, and most people don't. So all you can do, you just need, what I used is a 12-string guitar and 3 sets of acoustic strings. And you don't need more than that. So how I did it, so you can look at all the intervals and the frequencies for the notes in the Wikipedia page. But the problem is the original instrument has very high notes. The original is all the way up here. And I didn't have enough string sets to copy that exact sound. So you do have to take it down by, I think, a perfect fifth below. So it sounds very beautiful, but still a little bit too guitar-ish rather than that unique airy sound. So that is something you have to consider, is really investing in a capo, or just saying fuck it and really embracing that as it is. So I took the notes and the frequencies and detuned it down all the way to a fifth. And I have a visual diagram of my notes in the process of making it. So you can just pause that and look at it. So instead of going G, C, E, C, it's C, A, F, C. So, and so these two highest strings are tuned to the C note. And more importantly, I'm going to talk about the strings I used. So these sets of 2 strings are done with 2 high E's, 2 high E strings. And the second set, the A, is done with 2 B strings. And the F's are done with 2 G strings. Now, almost all of these are not tuned as high as they would on a standard guitar, which is why it's very convenient. So you'll have a very low chance at breaking any strings. And then lastly, the first set of strings is an octave high. These first 3 notes are in unison. They're the exact same note in the same octave. But this top string set is an octave apart. And the first string is the same as the 2 highest. So that is a 261 Hz C. And this is done with a B string. And then the second string of the first set is done with a D string. So on a normal guitar, that would be tuned a whole step down. Yeah, so that's very important, is that the first set is an octave and the rest of it is in unison. All of this is pretty familiar if you've ever played a 12 string, which most guitar players have. And a very important mistake that I made that you should avoid, when I first put this together, I misplaced the top 2 strings. I put the lowest on first and then put that one underneath, which did not sound good in my opinion. It was hard to get that, it sounded very dissonant and was hard to get that airy, it was hard to get that airy sound because it's so low. Like, that doesn't sound like Carrie Lowell, in my opinion. So please do the higher string before the lower string on the octave set. Don't do it like this. So yeah, do the highest string before the lower, do the higher octave first before the lower one. That's a mistake I made, and then I had to tune them. I had to restring those 2 and put it back together, which was a pain in the ass. So that's the most important mistake to avoid when tuning it to a Guitalin. And then lastly, like I said earlier, this sounds very guitar-like. It's very beautiful, but it's not that high, very distinctive Sufjan sound. So to do that, you do need a capo, and we're going to go to the 7th fret to get to that original Guitalin tuning. Now we're going to sound identical to a Guitalin. Get that on there real quick. It also could help if you should have remembered that. It also helps to put the capo from below so that it can grip the lower strings easier. Because you don't really need higher gauge strings for anything. You're only going to use the bottom 4 strings, so you're not going to use the E or the A set or anything like that. And it just sounds great. It's very simple. The A minor chord and the E minor 7 chord will go great on this. See, that sounds just like Carrie Lowell. So the A minor is essential if you want to get good at improvising on this tuning. And the chords are surprisingly easy to play. And I'll show you some of the basics. A C, you don't have to touch anything. And an F, the lowest string, 2nd fret, highest string, 2nd fret, and the 2nd set on the 1st fret. And to get to a G, on the 4th fret, 3rd fret above that, and then 2nd fret above it. So it's like a reverse F major 7. And that's a 1-4-5 on the Guitalin tuning. So I'll show you that. And then another thing, that's an F, take off your index, A minor. So that's the very basics, that's all the key stuff that I've learned so far on how to sound good in this tuning. And I hope you found this lesson helpful or insightful, both in or outside the guitar. And I'm just going to end this with a little improvisation piece using what we learned.